Welcome back, guys. This is Travis here of Fisher Hex. Today I'm going to be showing you some cutting with the Dremel tool. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, I am taking down this left rock structure early in order to be able to build a new one for the Acropora for the 300-gallon build. Now, I will say it's pretty exciting knowing that I'm going to replace this structure in order to grow those new acros, but on the other hand, it's still pretty sad to watch the year's worth of growth just be taken out piece by piece. Now, I am removing some pretty big chunks this time just to get a jump start on it. I have been holding it off, but I just kind of accepted it, looking at the tank the other day, already watching it, be slowly taken apart. I was just like, what the heck, I'm just going to cut up these big chunks and just get it over with. So this time around, I removed a pretty decent chunk of green birdsnest, as well as this entire colony of purple stylo. I just took the pliers, grabbed the base of it, and wiggled it loose from the rock. Alright, now we're back in the frag room, and this is the Dremel tool that I use. It was actually an entire kit that I picked up from Harbor Freight for about $30. Now the kit included this extension for the bits along with about 70 other pieces. The only downside that I have with it is the fact that it's a cordless Dremel. Now, when I purchased this, I really wasn't cutting a lot of coral at that time, so having a cordless battery operated one really wasn't a big deal. But now that I'm trying to cut up the entire reef tank, it really puts a damper on how much I can get done in one day. Now, I do get about 30 minutes or so worth of dremeling, depending on what I'm trying to cut through, and then it takes about an hour or two for it to completely charge. As I mentioned previously, this kit did come with about 70 pieces, and the majority of those were different types of bits that you could use. But unfortunately, none of them were the diamond coated cutting bits that I like to use when I cut coral. Now, I definitely could have purchased these diamond cutting bits at Harbor Freight, Lowe's, and or Home Depot, but honestly, I really don't feel like paying $20+ for one bit. Now, what I did is I just went onto eBay, looked it up, and I ended up getting 10 of them for just under $15 shipped. And obviously, they're not going to be as high quality as the ones you'll get at those chain stores, but I've been using the same one for about 3 weeks now, and it still cuts like it did the first day. Okay, now that that's all said and done, let's go into some safety precautions regarding the Dremel tool. With this particular unit, you definitely want to have hold of that end piece before you turn it on. I know that at one point I was just fiddling around and I turned it on while it was hanging up, and I thought it wouldn't make a big deal, but it actually caught the side of the wall and then flung itself across the room. So that was a stupid thing on my part, but I figure I'd share my little bit of a DTD moment there with you guys so you can not do what I just did. Now, the last safety measure that I recommend with the Dremel tool is to make sure that it's being held up appropriately. Now, as you saw previously when I showed you the Dremel, it's held up on a hook. Now, some of these kits actually come with a special rod, hook, base kind of thing that you connect to a table that will hold your Dremel up for you. Now, if you don't have that, just make sure you get a hook and bend it enough and that it's strong enough to hold the Dremel, because the last thing you want is it to fall from the hook because it's vibrating, and then it will pull the Dremel tool out of your hand and potentially cut you as it's being pulled out. Alright, enough of that Dremel tool safety. Let's go to move into cutting the coral. Now, I do recommend that you use rubber gloves of some sort. I personally like to use the black tattooing gloves off eBay. I just find that I get a couple uses out of them. They look pretty cool, and they're really not that bad coming on and off for multiple uses. Alright, the last piece of safety equipment you must have, regardless of what type of coral you are working with, are going to be safety glasses or goggles. Now, you can even go one step farther and get a full face shield, mask, something like that. Basically, at the minimum, you want to cover your eyes. Now, if you keep your mouth shut, you shouldn't be breathing in any of this crap or getting anything shot into your mouth. So just remember to keep your mouth shut if you're only using glasses like I am. Alright, now that I'm done talking safety, let's get into the process of cutting this coral up to make frags. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and take the Dremel and cut the actual colony into smaller pieces, pretty much between 1 to 2 inches. Now, the shipping cups that I have are only 4 ounces of water. I also have to fit in a styrofoam piece that's going to hold the frag in place, which you'll see all that in the later boxing video that I'll have coming out next week. As you guys can see, the Dremel really allows you to be precise when cutting up these colonies, and it also provides a very flat surface, which makes it a lot easier when it comes to gluing the frag to the plug. Once my colony is cut up into frag size pieces, I'll set those to the side and get ready to start gluing. Now, I like to use smaller frag plugs because when it comes to gluing sticks, they really don't take up that much room, and they do eventually encrust, but most of the time that coral has been sold and is put on a rock structure by the time it actually encrusts off the plug. When it comes to the super glue I use, I'm a big fan of the bulk Reef Supply super thick gel. Now, I like to buy it in bulk because it saves me money in the end, and I'm also trying out their new coral glue Accelerator. I will do a review on this product here shortly because there are some pros and cons to it compared to what I have been using. Now the overall process is pretty simple, as I've done in previous fragging videos. Just go ahead and put on a decent amount of coral glue, spray it really quickly with the coral glue accelerator, and get the frag in there as fast as possible. Now one more thing I want to mention about the glue accelerator is I really only use it when I'm working with sticks like green birdsnest, this stylo here, digitatas, acros, because they need to stand up straight and you really don't want to spend the time sitting there holding it, blowing on the glue, waiting for it to dry. Now when it comes to like gluing LPS corals or encrusting corals, I tend to just put the glue on there, set the coral, wait a couple minutes, and then put it in the tank. Well guys, that's about it for this video. I appreciate you sticking around. I'm going to go ahead and throw some music on so you guys can finish watching me frag out this coral. But before I do, I just want to mention that the coral sales will be starting on February 13th. And what will happen is once your order comes in, I will tell you the day that it will ship via email. And then you can expect it the following day by 10 a.m. All right? Well, either way, guys, I appreciate you watching the video. If you have any questions, put in the comment section below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, feel free to give it a thumbs down. And don't forget to subscribe if you like the content that I provide. And as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.